So it's recently come to my attention, far overdue actually, that the What If Doctor Was an Axe series, which is the main sort of feature of this channel, is a bit inaccessible to new viewers. Highlighted by this video I saw where someone, a complete outsider, stumbled upon our wiki, which is actually not the main series, it's a sort of a repository of the series as a database almost, so it's not meant to be viewed without any context. Stumbled upon it, as you can see here.
I found an entirely fan-made Doctor Who universe. The wiki is called What If Doctor Who Wasn't Axed? And it's pretty self-explanatory. If the show wasn't cancelled in 1989, what would have happened? Well, have no fear, the answer is here.
And you know, his thoughts were a little brutal, let's say.
Because it's honestly shocking how bad DaDoctorWhoFan's vision for the show is.
But I figured that we need some sort of introduction. So if you're new here, this video is going on the front page of the wiki. It's also in here, it's going to be the front page of the channel, so you can understand actually what this is. So the What If Doctor Was an Axe series is what I would label speculative fiction, and this does, yes, technically fall into fan fiction, but it's speculative because it started way back in 2016 with looking at the original plans for season 27, sort of coming up with that, seeing what I thought was likely, what wasn't, adding a bit of my own sort of guesswork, and going there and speculating what season 27 could look like, and then making a video about it, which is actually quite poor quality looking back at it, as you can see. But that's where it started. And then I did another one for season 28 based upon season 27. So what happens after that? And then I did another one, basing it all on what happens after, following this alternate timeline. And it grew and grew and grew. And then it got a fan base, which, blessing and a curse really, it meant that the series had to go on, really, because people were really enjoying it, and I was enjoying doing it too. You know, the quality wasn't even especially that good at the time. So it continued on and on and on, and more stuff. So looking what sort of creatives were coming in. So I think, okay, so you got Ben Ivanovich in here, you got all these people, you got Stephen Moffat, this very young writer, starting to come in, because he would have anyway. He even, the DWM issue actually mentions him, and that's from the 90s, so that's sort of important anyway. And all this comes to like, okay, so if Stephen Moffat was sort of here in the 90s, what would he have done? Blah, 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 and you keep going on, and you look at the creatives, and then you go on and on and on. And then it was around when we got to season 44-ish, perhaps a little earlier than that, the movie maybe, which, loads of reasons for that. Some outsiders think that's a bit ridiculous because it's builds and builds and builds, but I have charted how like the series goes from being a failure to success, because I think with Doctor Who, and I've explained this before, no matter what happens, it always has this sort of spiral of downwards and upwards, and you just have to give it as much time as possible. And I think it was cut off halfway through this time when it was cancelled, and I think eventually Doctor Who always ends up going upwards again. And I think, you know, that's even look what's happened with series 1 up here, continuing on for the 10th era, and then the Moffat era it kind of went down, and the Chibnall era it's gone up again. No matter your views in series 11, you have to agree it has quite a lot of popularity with the general audience, which is the important thing in not getting the show cancelled. So all of that stuff kind of happens, and it builds and builds and builds, and the series has got to a point now where it is massive. The spin-offs, movies, so much so that after the Panopticon Series 3 video, I realised that it needed a way of charting it. So I created the wiki, which is not meant to be the series. The wiki is not the series. The wiki is merely a repository for the series, a database. It's a wiki encyclopedia of the series. So if you stumble upon that without saying anything else, naturally this happens.
In fact, they've got around 169 new stories that they've added to the show, with plots written for every single one of them. And that's not all. It's also got spin-off shows. And 5 feature-length movies, with production details for every single one of them.
So, this is supposed to solve some of those issues. You know, start with season 27 at the start of that playlist. I know it's a bit hard to get into because my videos weren't very good back then. But, you know, and there is a reason lots of people do like it, and people do take it quite seriously, which is sometimes a little amusing, 1,000+ reviews of single episodes. But it's interesting once you get down this sort of rabbit hole, but I know it's very putting off for new viewers. That's why I don't even tag the newer videos, because I don't want someone to find out in a Google search without having any context, because they'll be so confused. So yeah, it's not all planned 30 years ahead, as Jerry says. It's not it's basing it on what I think were my best guesswork, and I do try and justify it in the videos on what would happen with these people in charge based on what's already happened, involving new series stuff in there as well, because these people were responsible for some of the stuff in the new series, so those ideas will still be emanating and that sort of stuff. And again, it's limited by what I can do. The reason David Suchet wears the same costume as he did the Landor.
Also, he looks exactly like he did when he played a separate character in the TV show. What a coincidence.
Because yes, there's a similar production team and all that sort of stuff, but also because that's the best image I can get. And that is an image which wouldn't exist in the universe anyway, because that's in Doctor Who and this is Doctor Who. So, instead of just using a picture from Pryor or something ridiculous like that, because that wouldn't make sense. So it's this internal logic which does make sense to go on. Anyway, I've been rambling for too long. Go and check out the series if you're new here. If you're not and you're just really confused by this series, it's your choice whether you want to watch it or not. I know a lot of people, outsiders, are very confused and find it a bit weird, which I admit that it can be. It's a whole alternate universe, and that wasn't the intention originally. It was just to make a fun sort of speculative video about season 27, and then one could say it got out of hand, and another one could say it blossomed into something else. So anyway, goodbye for now, and enjoy. Oh